as far as protections from the law, what are the differences between employees, contractors, and casual laborers? Unajua, and are their protection laws the same? They vary depending on the kind of contract they have.
Yes, I think among the three, the most protected is the employee, because remember, for the employee, they have the Employment Act. Now, casual laborer, I mean, just in the name itself, this is someone who comes, works maybe for a few hours or for a day, goes, and you have no other responsibility towards them. You pay them for their daily work they've done, and that's it. There's usually a danger sometimes with casual laborers, because the courts have held that, let's say you have a casual laborer who comes and works for you every single day, and then you decide, you know, I'm tired of paying you every day. Why don't I start just paying you monthly? Then the court now says, now that contract has moved into an employment contract. Because remember, there are certain features of an employment contract, okay? So, for instance, an employee is someone who is paid mostly on a monthly basis, right? So after every month, you receive a salary. The salary that they receive, it's subject to deductions, okay? So there's NSSF, NHIF, now we have the housing fund that has come in. Then sometimes there are benefits.
You.
And of course, there are some benefits they receive, you know, whether it's leave, etc. So you'll find most times some relationships start casual, and then progressively they turn into an employment relationship. But you will find the employer is unaware this thing has become now an employment relationship, and this will affect especially those who hire up country. So you have you know, someone who comes to work on the farm or working on the home.
Yeah.
And you know, if someone asks you who is Juma, you're like, Juma has been here for even 10 years. I've known him since I was young.
Big shout out to all people who are called Juma. Now, wanafanya kazi kwa farm.
And now the third one, of course, is the contractor.
Wait, so before we go to that, could I ask, even if there is no written contract, the court would still treat it as an employee-employer relationship?
No.
I mean, there's no written contract.
Yeah. There is no requirement that an employment relationship requires a contract. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what happens is this: that contract could be oral or it could be written. Now, under, I believe it's Section 10 of the Employment Act, what the Act envisions is that there will be a contract, and it will be a written contract. And I cannot understate the importance of a written contract, because it lays out clearly what the role is, what are the expectations, how much am I paying you, how can I discipline you, what are you supposed to do, what time do you report to work, what time do you leave work, all that. It protects everyone, and it's important that there's an employment contract. Now, where there's an oral contract, what the court does is that it looks at the conduct of the parties. How have the parties conducted themselves? How have they related with each other? To then determine what is the nature of this. So one of the ways will be the court will look at how have you been paid? You're paid on a monthly basis. How much are you paid? Okay. Do you get leave? Okay, they get leave. Are you under the control and supervision of your employer? Are they determining your working hours? So now that, from an employer's perspective, it can become very messy, because remember, there's no document you're producing to say, for instance, that we have agreed with this person that leave days will be 21. They could come and claim the leave days are 30, but you don't have a document that comes, you know, to change that narrative. And remember, what we say in employment matters is that when you go to court, you have what we call the burden of proof. The burden of proof is the responsibility you have that the things you're claiming, you provide evidence to support that. In employment cases, once an employee claims something, that burden shifts to the employer, who then has to come and show the court that what the employee has said is actually not the reality. This is the reality. Many employers will find themselves unable to do that. Why? Because they don't have these systems, they don't have contracts, they don't have policies that show that. Now, the third you ask is the contractor. A contractor is not an employee, because this is someone who's coming to give you services. They are not under your control. You don't control their time. The only thing they need to do is you give them, these are my deliverables, and they give you the deliverables. Where that or a relationship now, if you find, for instance, you're a contractor and someone is telling you, you have to report here at 7 and you have to leave at 5 every single day, that contract has changed. You're no longer a contractor.
Yeah.
And that's why it's also important for contractors to ensure that they have written contracts that will state very clearly, these are the expectations, and this is what is provided, and in case there's any dispute, this is how you deal with it. Of course, as I said, the employee is also more protected than a contractor, because remember, a contractor is basically just a contract relationship. It's the way you and I can just have a contract relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.